I guess for me, I was married for a long time. I don't really, this has always been like a curiosity thing for me more than anything else. Like, I'm interested in somebody, I'm curious about what sex would be like with them. That's kind of how I approach sex. But I was married and my marriage was sexless in general. I would say relationship or before we got married, we had sex. It was a special time of life. We were a little in a haze. I would say by the time we got married and we had our first two kids, it was pretty much a sexless marriage. Like we went long periods of time without having sex. And he didn't seem to want to. Really, he didn't seem to want to. And I definitely had moments where I felt like I would initiate it and be rejected and be kind of rebuffed. I didn't really a lot of initiation effort anymore and put any into it. It's interesting because I have three kids. I can actually remember each instance. I can remember each conception
Mm.
because that's how infrequently we had sex. I know each instant conceived each child. So I didn't really have a lot of sex, but I thought about sex a lot. And when I was married, I masturbated a lot because I definitely wanted to have sex. It was a huge reason why our relationship fell apart. I would write about it I look back at my journals from when I was married and I'd be writing about it all the time. It was always a goal to have more sex, try to have more sex,
Mm.
to see if I could get him to want to have more sex, that kind of thing. It's interesting because when we up, he kind of was like, sort of said he wished we had more sex. I was like, you didn't want to. And then never really came to any closure or any conclusions about it. We're not aligned. Let's say that. Sex was a huge problem in our marriage. I would say marriage was largely platonic. We had a great relationship. We had a lot of jokes together, just weren't not sexually compatible.
Mm.
So I definitely felt suppressed, starved. I knew as soon as my marriage was over, I was going to have more sex. Like
Mm.
I knew that. I would say in 2 weeks of our separation, I was on a date with another man. Look back at some memories. It was largely because I really wanted that like physical affection. Like I really wanted to be wanted. I really wanted to see if a man was going to want me. In a month, I had sex with someone new. I really wanted to have sex. Like it was a huge problem for me. And I was in China when my marriage fell apart. So I moved on with was in a faraway city. So we didn't have an ongoing relationship. I got back to America. I was like, listen, what's on my agenda? Some fucking. Like, that's what's on my agenda. I'm not even gonna lie. I wanted to have sex. That doesn't mean promiscuity. I just wanted to have fulfilling, like, passionate sex. That's been a priority of mine. I would say in the last years or so. But kind of that's where I am now.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
important to me.
You kind of transition a little into the sensual non-monogamy.
Oh, I wouldn't. I don't think I've been like truly practicing non-monogamy until I came back here
Right, right.
to the US, to be honest with you. I was not, I was dating.
Hmm.
But when I came back to the US in 2021, when I was like, okay, I'm really polyamorous. I'm doing polyamorous things.
Two totally different experiences in our marriage and our sexual experiences being married. For me, I think it's important to share that I did not draw a line in the sand and decide that I wanted to live my polyamorous truth because I wasn't fulfilled sexually,
Hmm.
in my marriage. This is the nuance that I think is important for people to hear.